Today's Q&A is going to be one I get asked a lot, so particularly from runners or from people who are new to running, and they've signed up for the marathon, they've got this idea, they want to do this big challenge, and they want to do it in the most effective way possible without getting injured. I think running is is a sport that involves a lot of injuries, particularly to the knees, and people want to avoid that while being able to train effectively for the marathon. So I think that out there now there's lots of information online about actually building up your training, and you can go on and get templates for marathons very, very easily if you just Google marathon templates, and it will give you like if you've got 3 months, if you've got 4 months, if you've got 5 months, it will give you a built up program. And that's one thing you want to do, is make sure that your volume of training builds up over time. You don't want to be getting to the point where you're a few weeks out and then you suddenly have to ramp up the amount that you're doing. That's one surefire way to get injured. The other things that you can do, obviously, I mention it a lot on this channel, but eating the right food, so making sure that you're recovering well from your running training, making sure that you're doing some soft tissue work, so foam rollers, things like that, to actually maintain some soft tissue health, and improve mobility, which I think is what foam rollers do a lot of. By affecting your nervous system, they make everything more mobile, and therefore when you do your dynamic stretches, that can be really helpful. And I think strength training is a huge thing. So the studies they've done show that strength training can actually reduce your injury risk in running by up to 50%. It was more than manual therapy, physiotherapy, any of the interventions that they looked at. Strength training was the #1 biggest impact that you can have. Obviously, you're not going to be doing that because you're going to be doing your running a lot. You're not going to be doing lots of that, but even 1 to 2 sessions of strength training a week is really important. The other thing that you can do as well is have 2 rest days in the week. So if you're doing your running, say 3 times a week, and then you did 2 of your strength training sessions, and then you had 2 days off. Okay, so again, if you've got 7 days, you want to have 2 days off in that week of complete recovery and rest. And often what you'll find, if you do the strength training alongside the running, then you're going to find you get less injuries and you're going to be more able to run. Usually what I would do is periodize that. So essentially you'd start off when you're quite far out from the marathon, you may be doing 2 strength and 3 runs. And then as you get closer towards the marathon, you're maintaining your strength with once a week, and then doing 1 more run. Because you obviously are going to need to ramp up the volume of the training with the running. So that's what I would definitely say is strength training is a huge, huge factor, and the volume of training that you're doing. I think if you start to go out every day, we know that the injury risk, once you go from 3 times a week to 4 times a week of running, it actually goes up 400% in terms of the injury risk. So it's actually often the volume of running that people do, the amount that they do, that tends to cause these kind of repetitive strain type injuries. The other thing you can do is make sure that you are biomechanically set up well for running, and that your efficiency in running is good. So going to see a coach, going to see someone who knows what they're talking about, who could do an assessment with you, who can look at your body, can actually guide you in terms of the strength training. Okay, which muscles do you really need to work on in order to get better? There's good videos on this site and on the channel, on the YouTube channel, where I'll go through exercises to strengthen things like the glutes, which are really, really important for running. But you can also have situations where there's certain joints that are not mobile enough, so you might need to do some stretching. So if you get in to see someone who knows what they're talking about, they can go through that with you. And then on top of that, looking at your efficiency in running, so how you're running, there's certain cues that you can use and think about that actually reduce the impact forces through the body, or change the impact forces, so that actually you're not getting as much of that strain through the knees. Often people tend to overstride, so even simple cues like increasing the amount of steps that you're doing is going to have an impact on your forces in the knee and in the lower limbs, and that's going to have an impact on reducing pain. So those are the things I would say. Good assessment, a biomechanical assessment, so that you can look at where you specifically need to work on, then do that. So then work on that strength and work on those areas of weakness alongside your running. Periodise it in a way where the running builds up obviously over time, and work on your recovery in between. So good food, foam rolling, stress management, good sleep. Sleep is very key. If you're working on those things, then you're going to have the least chance of getting injured when you're running. And yeah, so hopefully that's been valuable, and I will talk to you all on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, then please give us a like and subscribe by clicking up here. Also, don't forget to go over to strengthphysio.com and check out our members area, which has basically got our full library of all of our videos. You can get there by going to strengthphysio.com/members. Hopefully I'll see you on the site, and I'll talk to you all soon.